Hello, welcome to my home. I'm Jean, and welcome to Bye Bye, Scrammo, to that loneliness while we're here today, and chat and collage. And I hear it's an epidemic, this loneliness, so I'm gonna put together collage and chatting and have a little community with you. I'm so glad you could make it. Well, this is collage number 14, and I thought I would do something. I would show you all the collages I made when I was practicing in January and February, and this is March of 2026, to show you how quickly you can get a body of work, which is very cool. So this is one that we did recently, and it folds like this. So you get the collage here and you open it up and it gets the full collage. But I want to go through these quickly so we can get moving. This is a recent one, kind of an Eastery one. This is card sized. Now we're on number 3. We got 3, 4, and this one has the back part. 5, I'm calling this almost a body of work, right? 6, 7, 8. Yeah, you're gonna have to find a box to hold them all. 9, and I love them all. 10, this is not in any particular order. 11, body of work, my friends, body of work. Feel like artists. 12, 13, 14, and this is what happened to me in 2017 when I first started. Did I say 14? I think this is 15. I used the same background for some of these, but that's okay. 16, and just changed them a little bit. 17. Now here's some of the larger ones. 18. 19. 20. This is a copy. 21. Well, that's a copy. Well, it's different than the original, so we'll count it. 21. 22, plus the one we made last week that I'm going to show you. 23. This is another one of them skinny ones. 23 collages. And that's good work. And it's fun when you get a body of work because you feel kind of good about yourself. You got some stuff accomplished. So I'm going to put these aside. So I just wanted to do that. So if you've been working on collages every week, it adds up. Maybe you do 1, maybe you do 2. And then I wondered if today we could talk about bicycling and bicycle rallies and traveling. I live in Colorado now, but I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland. And I drove back and forth several times. And once or twice I had my bicycle on the back of my car and my cat, who did not like to stay in her carrier. She'd be on my lap. And I'd be on Highway 80. One time I took Highway 70. Big mistake. I had to go through towns and cities and all this kind of thing. And here is a catalog that has furniture kind of things. And I often like to use a lamp in my collages. It doesn't really go, but it looks like it goes. Another one, Another catalog that came in the mail the other day is signals. They got all kinds of stuff I like in here. Things, all kinds of good pictures. And that just comes in the mail and it's free. And I know I mentioned that I get maps in the mail, but I don't think I've ever showed you one. Yep, I get maps and I save those. Sometimes I make those in the background. And I've been really itching to use some of these images. The butterfly and the leaves. I want to use these leaves. You know, and some of these things are just, maybe this would be in, I don't know why I saved that. But sometimes I get in, ooh, look at this. And this is on the front of an envelope. But I like that tiger. See, that's really an envelope. Came in the mail. And maybe you've done something online so you don't get junk mail. But my junk mail ends up being my collages. So since Easter's coming, I thought I'd spend some time doing some Eastery kind of collages. Oh, and I was talking about driving cross country with my bicycle on the back of my car, you know, and I had to stop. Of course, you have to stop a couple times, stay in a motel or hotel or whatever. I had to schlep in my bicycle. I didn't want anybody stealing it. And my cat had to, you know, with the litter box and all that. And that was when I was in my late 20s, early 30s. It seemed like no big deal. Now at 68, but at least now at 68, I have gotten to a point where I don't aggravate over my hair too much, because I have curly hair that doesn't, it'll be curly in this spot and straighter in this spot and it's gone gray. So I've gotten at 68 years old to more of an acceptance of my hair. And I don't wear makeup, so maybe I should pinch my cheeks so I don't look so white or so bland. I don't know. But today, you know, I got this little catalog, and I think it's going to have some images in here. Ooh, I love the white polar bear. These are the kind of things that, and the penguins, that get my interest. And there was one time when I was back in Maryland, and I had my car and I had all my stuff. I'm not sure why I was back there with all my stuff, but I went to a bicycle shop and they had a bulletin board. And I think bicycle shops still might have bulletin boards. They don't have everything online. And there was a rally. So I'm in Maryland and there was a rally, a bicycle rally in New Hampshire. So I called. I guess I used the telephone back then. I don't know if it was in the 80s. Yeah, I guess it was in the late 80s. And I signed up for the rally. And I think it was 3 or 4 days. And I put my bike on the back. I don't know where my cat was. Yeah, this is very, yeah, the memories for long ago. You know, I really admire people who keep diaries. If I kept diaries, I would know all the details. But my cat didn't go to the rally with me. I know that for sure. So I drove up from Maryland all the way to New Hampshire, went through New Jersey. Everybody was warning me about the New Jersey Turnpike, but I don't think it was too bad. I started out early, and when I got to New York and that George Washington Bridge, and they got layers and layers of lanes, I did not know what I was doing. People were beeping at me. It's just a miracle, really, that I got off at the exit that I needed to get off at. That took me further north, and I found myself in New Hampshire. Now, after the rally was over, I looked at my map. This is when we had to open up the big maps, like I was showing you that map, but not like that. A map, you know, really detailed. And I decided to go west and then go south. And I went through Allenstown. I think there's a song about Allenstown. I'm not sure what band did it. Oh, I think it was Billy Joel. And my brother had some friends who lived there, so I spent the night there. Anyway, I'll tell you about the rally, but let's get started on this collage. So I'm going to tip down the phone. And it never works real well. And I always got to try a couple times, but maybe I'll get it easier this. I can't believe that happened again. Maybe I need to get a better tripod thing. Okay. So, tilt that down a little more. Do it up real tight. And I think you can all see it. Yeah. Here's my hand here. Here's my hand here. Okay. And I'm using this old frame that I found at a yard sale with pillows underneath of it, so we can do our work. And this is this side. It looks funny when I look at it from this angle. Here we go. Okay. So, I don't know if we started this last time. I don't think we did. So I got this card out, one of my freebie cards. That's the Holocaust Museum. And I found some images I want to use. And I'll take a piece of paper out to do my glue in. And then I had a whole bunch of other images that I decided not to use, but I still might. And that's the fun thing about collages, because what it feels like to me is that I'm creating a little world. I'm creating a new little world in here. And the reason I brought this out is because, and I gotta grab my scissors and stuff over here, keep my scissors and all just in a baggy thing. Get a couple of these out, so I don't know how old my glue sticks are. And that out. Get that out of the way. Alrighty, friends of collage and chat and collage. Here we go. So you got your card. Got the envelope that came with it. And I found this giraffe, and I want to use half of the giraffe here. And I might put the other half someplace else on the card. That's always fun to do. And I had a magazine that came that had all kinds of Easter stuff. And I thought about putting this rabbity thing over here. But let me get my, I love this. It's like a Easter tree. And then we have an Easter basket under the tree. So what if we just put a ton of, maybe that can go over there. I cut out a ton of eggs. Yeah, a ton of eggs from this catalog. Got a whole bunch over here, I think you can see. And that's going to be the Easter collage. Now, over here in this little doorway, and I think we've used this card before, so they must have sent the same kind of card in the pack when I get the freebie cards. Oh, here. So when I looked at this that came in the mail, I thought I could probably find something really cute in here to put in that doorway. Now, I like the panda, but I'm not sure if he's too wide. And you can be looking through your magazines and cutting things out And thinking about if you don't have any cards, you could probably go to a thrift shop. People drop off cards there all the time, things that come in the mail for them. And our library has magazines. I think they sell them for $1. You think they would just give them for free, but that's okay. Libraries need money. They do good things. I'm really leaning towards that panda, that maybe I can fit him in there somehow. So this is kind of what I do. I just look through things. I always love the big tigers or pumas, whatever that is. Now this probably wasn't one that came to the house recently because it doesn't have any Eastery stuff. Socks. I guess this is all, of course this is all stuff I could buy. Duh. Okay, I'm going to cut out that panda. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to stop thinking about it and give it a try. Okay. How long have we gone already? I always go much longer than I want to, and I doubt anyone's watching all the way to the end. 16 minutes? Well, I'll finish up the glue sticking afterwards and then show you the finished product so you don't have to just sit here about this. So I went up to that bike rally. I mean, just out of the blue, I thought, I'm going to a bike rally. That's the kind of stuff I used to do. I did not know anybody. I did not even have a bicycle helmet. I had a Schwinn bicycle. Maybe it was 3 speeds or something like that. Get there Friday, they were having a dinner. And I'm not really an outgoing person, but I get these ideas and I want to do certain things. And I get there and I'm like, oh man, I feel kind of out of place. I don't know who to sit with, just like in high school. Who do you sit with in the cafeteria? And so I saw there was one man sitting there. And it was like there were a couple boys with him, must have been like teenagers. So I thought, well, that looks safe. I'll sit there. And they have you stay in a college. So we were staying in a college in like dorm rooms. And so I sat with him, and he ended up being a writer for the Associated Press. And I don't know if he was maybe thinking I was a possible, romantic partner, but I didn't like that. I didn't like the idea that he may have or may not have, I didn't have my good radar out for it, or maybe my radar was out. And I thought, no way. And so I just kind of talked to his kids, I said, are these your kids? And one of them was his kid's friend. And so we had dinner and got back to the room, and I met my roommate. And then the next day you wake up and they have all these rides planned. And there were some bicycle riders there, it's like real professional kinds, and they were going to go for 100-mile rides. And I just wanted to kind of mill around town. And we ended up going into Maine one day with a few of us. And I remember hearing someone say, why don't you have your helmet on or something? I said, I don't have a helmet. And we rode along the coast of Maine. It was beautiful, with the ocean right there. So, I'm not good with groups. I wish I had been better on that trip to kind of make friends. I just sort of followed along, and is anyone going anywhere that I can tag along? This doesn't make me look good, but everyone has different phases and different personalities. And we need to be kind to ourselves and have mercy. And my story is just as good as anyone else's stories, and so is yours. So let's sign off for today. I'll say my big bye, and I hope you felt a little less lonely. And see you next time. Bye-bye.